Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And this article comes to you guys from Mike over at Ookla. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out. So, this is a very interesting article. So, AT&T's new FWA strategy is playing out in Houston. And of course, this article is focused on Houston because of data points, but FWA is more broader than that, clearly. So, they're selling it at scale. So, there's some interesting data here that you guys can check out. Just a quick takeaways from this particular article. Houston is a prime battleground for cable, fiber, and FWA. As I mentioned, it's more broader than just Houston, of course. AT&T's Met-band spectrum holding in Houston stands to grow from 120 to 150 megahertz, a 25% increase. Again, unlocking accelerated growth on FWA. AT&T is using FWA to expand beyond the reaches of its fiber network in Houston, and of course, in other areas like El Paso and Dallas and other areas too. They're selling FWA. Now, we have a chart here that shows you the quarterly acceleration of FWA, and these numbers, of course, are far greater than just the Houston area. So it started in the third quarter of 2023, 24,000, and then you guys can see it grow each and every quarter, except the third quarter in 2024. They had a bit of a decline, but after that, it just went up and up and up and up until the most recent quarter, they grew to 270,000. Now, what I want to add in the uh, the EchoStar spectrum that's now being added to the 3.45 where it's deployed. That's quickly increasing spectrum and bandwidth in a lot of markets. In some markets more than others, especially in the markets where they have the U.S. cellular spectrum and the DoD from EchoStar. They're going to 100 megahertz in some markets and 80 megahertz on C-band. So that leaves room for a lot of FWA opportunity. Now, what I will say, what's impressive, in my opinion, AT&T has achieved this acceleration in growth, except, like I said, the third quarter of 2024. They've achieved this without any real go-to market. There is no national ad campaign about AT&T's FWA Internet Air that I've seen. I could be wrong, but I have not seen them attacking this part of the business, or not attacking, marketing that part of the business on a national ad campaign. So it's very likely happening very locally. There might be some flyers going to homes, word of mouth, but they're not advertising it heavily. I haven't seen any digital marketing. I have not seen any ads through the social media platforms. So they're very, very quietly scaling this business. Now, a lot of this could be a lot of boots on ground, so to speak, where they have sales reps, B2B reps that are going to door selling the FWA. That's a possibility. But from a national perspective, there is no go-to market strategy or ad campaign yet that's nationally pushing marketing for this product. So AT&T has an opportunity. Per this chart, you can see it scaling. They have an opportunity, I feel, on a quarterly basis to come in between 3 to 400,000. I think in the fourth quarter, they have an opportunity to grow over 300,000, and I think they will, because everybody's volume is up during the fourth quarter. It's the shopping holiday quarter, and there's just more foot traffic in stores. So more and more and more people, and of course, a lot of it has to do with the sale reps in store. Can they pitch the product? How are they going to close the customer? All that plays a factor. But AT&T still does not have a go-to market national ad campaign around this product. Keep that in mind. That could change, but AT&T still has room to really grow that business if they really wanted to push a go-to market. That would be key, in my opinion. Instead of spending who knows how many millions on this T-Mobile ad campaign bashing T-Mobile, AT&T should have reallocated those funds into a national ad campaign go-to market for FWA. It's now a real business case. AT&T said, yes, it's still fiber first, it's still the strategy, but this product is now a business case. Look how much it's growing on a quarterly basis. So it's no longer a secret. This product now, Stanky downplayed it at the very beginning, but they're now taking it serious. Why? One, there is no real use case beyond FWA. And two, they need to monetize the capacity that's on air. And of course, they need to show ROI on all the money that they just spent. So those are just some of my takeaways. As you can see here, AT&T, however, AT&T has not pursued the FWA market as aggressively as its rivals. AT&T in the second quarter of 2025 passed the 1 million FWA milestone, while T-Mobile counted 7.3 and Verizon counted around 5.1 million. Importantly, FWA speeds across all three providers have increased, according to Ookla. So again, like I said, there is no go-to market. So there is more room for growth and momentum for AT&T in this business. So these are some quotes from AT&T officials on FWA. Outside of AT&T's fiber footprint, thereby extending the reach of its converged fixed wireless and smartphone service, we recently had AT&T CEO John Stankey on Bloomberg say convergence percentage is higher on FWA, 50%, likely because it's cheaper. Then the second, inside the legacy copper network footprint, AT&T is working to decommission. Of course, they can more quickly make FWA as an alternative because it's going to take a lot longer to overlay that with fiber, and some of that footprint is not going to get fiber at all. So it's much easier to sell FWA into that copper footprint. And then in its planned fiber footprint, AT&T currently covers around 30 million U.S. locations. They're going to double that to 60 million locations by the end of 2030. The company plans to use FWA as an interim anchor while it builds fiber to those remaining locations. So you get FWA first in that scenario, and then 6 months or however long it takes to build up the fiber, the AT&T sends you a new router and says, hey, you're now you're now getting off of FWA onto a better fiber product. This is the price point. My only problem with that, well, not a problem. What if the customer says they're more comfortable with the FWA price point and they don't need fiber, right? That's something that AT&T will have to overcome. I don't know, maybe they give them an introductory rate for the same price, a lower speed, whatever the case, but they want to get that customer off of FWA. That's still the primary objective for AT&T, but I think there is some longevity there on FWA, and I think T-Mobile and Verizon are going to showcase that. I've had FWA on T-Mobile since 2021 without any other internet provider. So I've had it for a few years, and I have yet to even think about, okay, maybe, I'm going to do something else. Like if a direct fiber line comes to my location, then I will definitely rethink and see what the pricing is like at that time, and is it beneficial if I maybe join with wireless. I'll relook it when that happens. But for now, I use over 1.2 terabytes on T-Mobile without any blowback or issue, none. Now, I know from a gaming perspective, I've stated this before, FWA not necessarily the best as it comes to buffer blow and those statistics, because the ping times will never be as low as say even like a good better cable DOCSIS connection or even fiber, right? The fiber strand directly to the house. It's a better technology and a better performing service, but FWA has room to improve. So don't think that that's not going to improve with 5G advanced, maybe going into 6G. Maybe it's going to be put on its own slice at some point where the buffer blow won't be so much of a problem. That's just something that could be looked into from all the carriers that are doing FWA. But for now, check out this article. Huge room for momentum for AT&T on FWA. More so, I think, than T-Mobile and Verizon today. So that's just something that AT&T can pitch and go to market still, and maybe even take some share from existing customers that are on T-Mobile FWA or Verizon FWA. Very possible here. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. See y'all in the next one. Peace.